Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan and I'm feeling very moisturized today, so feeling good. Every once in a while you get that good skin day and you're just feeling good about yourself. I'm feeling that today. I don't know why. I don't know if it's gonna last, but whatever. You don't care about that. You clicked on this video because you want to know what I'm on about, or at the very least you're curious because you subscribe to me, and maybe you're gonna consider this kind of like what the hell is he talking about? We need a remaster of Dragon Age Origins? Yes, we do. Before I go further, let me just put this out there. If you like this video, if you like Dragon Age, if you like Mass Effect, if you like KOTOR, if you like anything that has to do with topics relating to RPG games or just games in general, please subscribe. It helps me, it helps you. It also helps me game that algorithm that nobody seems to understand or really know what the hell do you have to do about it. But either way, I've been playing Dragon Age Origins again on PC with the intention of reacquainting myself with the storyline, with the story going into Dragon Age Dreadwolf. Hopefully that's going to be here by next year, but either way, I do eventually want to get through all of them again, just so I can be up to snuff on the story, since I haven't really played any of them in a long time. I put in about 7.5 hours, and I came to this conclusion very early on as I'm playing it, even before I started playing it, that this game needs a major re-release or remaster. And I don't say that lightly. This is not like with Mass Effect, where the only one that really needed the remaster above all of them was probably Mass Effect 1, and then we inevitably got that remastered trilogy, and it was great, and I loved it, and I still play these games to this day. The situation with Dragon Age is potentially just slightly more dire. And not dire in that you can't play it or it's not possible, but there's just a little bit of like onboarding things you have to do that are really obnoxious when you do want to play this game. First off, I'll give you one thing right off the bat that's easily noticeable just by playing the game or even watching someone play the game. Dragon Age Origins is incredibly slow. Not in a bad way, for me at least, but more in the sense that it plays slowly. It's more tactical, and that's great, and that's one of the things I like about the game. I love it. But for a modern audience, it's the fact that the actions you take, the walking around, it can be a little slow and can feel slow. Now, something that will fix that is if you can get the game to play at 60 frames or higher, and at the same time, if you can get it playing at the higher frame rate, but also downloading a mod like I did that kind of ups your combat speed, ups your walking around speed, definitely helps. But again, that's downloading a mod on PC. Then you have the UI. The UI is fine, but it's more so when you're playing on a 4K display and maybe you want to display the game in 4K, the screen, the text gets so small. I don't have any video of that, but trust me, it's so tiny. This even happens if you download like the original Mass Effect 3 and you try to play it in 4K. The text is just so small, almost unreadable. And that's another reason you have to download a mod to kind of just fix that a little bit. Even if you just want to play the game in 1080p, there's going to be some issues with little resolution issues here and there. So again, that's just another thing that you have to account for when you install the game. I think about when I tried to play KOTOR 1, how insanely difficult it is to play on PC, because if you just want to play it just as it is, it's fine, but if you want to play it in 16:9, 1080p resolution, you have to go in and you have to kind of manipulate the game a little bit, download a kind of hacked version of the game if I'm not mistaken, and then up your resolution to 1080p somehow, and it looks fine, it looks great, and it works fine, but it's just something that not most people, me included, are smart enough, I think, or attentive enough to want to have to do every single time we want to play an old game like that. Or maybe I reinstall KOTOR someday and then I have to go through this whole hassle again. It's the same thing with Dragon Age Origins. I can see a scenario where maybe I uninstall the game because I'm not playing it at the time, and then I have to do all this again or look it all up again because I'm not gonna write this down or remember it, because that would be smart to do, and I don't have that kind of time. The other thing that was gnawing at me about it is the fact that you have these general difficulties getting the texture stuff to work. So if you do download a generalized like unofficial remaster mod like I did, you just kind of get these weird texture issues that I think if there was just a official way of getting them fixed, or if I was smarter maybe, but that's why I'm saying it should be as easy as plug and play, and I think a re-release would go a long way to fixing that. I mean, a lot of people are not going to be as attentive to these things or want to tinker with their games when they download them. Maybe they want to change some settings in the menus and whatnot, but I don't want to go into the weebs of it and have to like alter game files and whatnot. especially if you're playing on console. You just want to plug that shit in and go. The final thing I want to mention here is that with these old EA games, they're still dependent upon EA's, I guess you'd say, kind of defunct, maybe not really that popular Origin service, which is kind of like a quote-unquote Steam competitor, where if you buy the Steam version of Dragon Age Origins Ultimate Edition, the DLC doesn't automatically get installed with the game. You have to kind of do a little tinkering here and there to either have it link up with Origin, or you have to do some kind of update or download the packages yourself and then just kind of update it into your game and then install it that way. And again, it's just obnoxious. We can blame EA for the fact that you have to link your game up to Origin. They should just remove that entirely. There's also part of it that's like, hey, maybe we need to just make sure this is a newer file or a re-release, or even just maybe release a modern day update that just kind of alleviates a lot of these issues. Again, these games, in my opinion, should just be plug and play, and then everything else is enhancing that. Here's the other thing. I realize that there's going to be other people here who are going to say, well, the game works fine on Xbox if you just pop it into your Xbox One or your Xbox Series X, the disc, or even download it. It works perfectly fine and it runs perfectly well, and that's great. And listen, I wish all the console manufacturers took a hint from Xbox on that front in terms of just updating old games, preserving old games, because clearly that's important to them, and it should be important to every one of these companies. In that reality, I still would say that it's probably better if we just get a native version, a native either PS4 or Xbox One version or Series X or PS5 version of Dragon Age Origins. Especially, obviously it's not going to come out before Dreadwolf comes out, but especially once the series hopefully has its comeback with Dreadwolf, you're going to want people to revisit the origins of the series. No pun intended, the origins of the series, Dragon Age Origins. And it also gives you time to clean up some of that combat, make it a little more fluid, because the writing here is great, the game is great, the audio, the sound, the music, it's fantastic. But I think a remaster, a re-release would do a lot of good for the franchise. Anyway, I don't want to ramble too much more. I don't normally do these kind of videos where I just kind of rant or not really have a script prepared, but I felt this was important enough to me that I think that I needed to just kind of get some of this out. Given the fact that this video is unscripted, I don't know if I hit every point that I wanted to make. I might think of something as soon as I'm done recording, but I thought this was an important conversation to have, because when I looked at what happened with Mass Effect Legendary Edition, not only does it reignite the old passion that older fans have, fans like myself, what it also does is it brings new fans into the fold. People who played it for the first time and thought, wow, like, how did I miss this? Yeah, how did you? Really? You need to answer for that still. But that being said, I want to leave the conversation there. What are your thoughts on a potential Dragon Age remaster? Is it something that we should pressure EA for? Is it something that we should even be bothering with? I'm all for new experiences, but I think maybe, just maybe, kind of reinvigorating that fan base with Dragon Age Dreadwolf, and then kind of revisiting these older games as maybe even a side project. Maybe it's something that we know takes a while to get to, but just to show that we appreciate the legacy of these games. And that's all there is to it. I don't really have much more to say. I'll probably keep rambling if I don't stop now. So, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, or don't. I don't care, honestly. Well, no, I do. But thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you all soon.